And family, thank you for joining me here at the American News Network with Chris Sanders at the nation's capital as we have one DOGE Reporter is in action and we are passing out the pink slips. Yes, members of the IRS, you can go home. Today we have members of the CIA. All of you shall receive your pink slips. You're hereby fired by the President of the United States and myself. Members of the FBI, out of the 13,000 of you, 5,000 were basically working on the Hunter Biden laptop. We're going to examine each one of you, and you're going to be fired. Also for your corruption and how you've helped destroy America, we will address each and every one of you. I'm not your friend, I'm your worst enemy. And if you don't follow the President of the United States, and if you don't love President Donald Trump, well, you're at the wrong news channel. This is for friends and family that believe in this nation and believe that we, through God and country, have the answer to basically give you everything that you need. Mexico, I'll tell you something, lady. You better use your forces today to clean up the cartel, because if we do, come next week, we're going to let God sort them out when we fly over with Black Hawks. And of course, this won't be the woke assistant of Joe Biden that happened to fly in and kill 66 people. I also want you to know the reason, the true reason why we have all these problems in the sky is because of a woke appointer that's running the show by Biden, Jackwagon Joe, a man named Washington who's not even a pilot or a captain, but somehow he's in charge of all of our airplanes in the sky. And to the 66 people that tragically died, well, that blood is on Joe Biden's hands. So we need to have new people, but Mexico, I'm going to let you know your $295 million present every year that you've been getting from Biden, those days are over. Czech Republic, your $324 million on the backs of America, it's over. Estonia, your $334 million a year on America, it's over. And as far as you woke people in Estonia, cut it out. You either respect our president or you're going to respect Putin. But stop acting like you're America. Poland, $375 million a year. Can you ask me why? I want you to ask yourself a question. What other country taxes its citizens and then sends the money to another, and then sends their money to America? Does Poland tax its citizens and send America money? Do any of these dirtbag nations do that? Well, the answer is no. You see, our Congress, I can prove to you that they stole $1 billion a month and that we're looking at a 1.6 trillion thieving deficit caused by these people. And if you think that your crimes are going to go unnoticed, well, think again. I even got some good stuff from Barron Trump where he sent me a whole list of the Lutheran Church stealing stuff. And even though Dusty Johnson in South Dakota did we really receive $1.3 million or $1 million, or was that just fraud? I went to your offices. I'm the only guy from South Dakota. I had some questions, but to hide and close a door, how kitty cat could you get? Okay, Bulgaria, your $431 million of crime, we're going to want that money back. Tanzania, your $471 million. Why on earth are we giving you guys even $1? You giving me $1? No. Pakistan, $536 million. And you have a Chinese puppet, okay? So what this tells me is somehow we helped arrest Imran Khan back during the Biden days. Yeah, us, and there's money behind it with China. I'm unraveling it with you with DOGE. And as Vivek Ramaswamy drops out, now I was in Madison Square Garden. And I was there with Elon Musk and Vivek when they announced to the world about DOGE. And this oil and gas producer, Lone Star Gas Company, and the gas company, we became Drill Baby Drill. And you know what? As an investor, I took that very seriously. So I started DOGE Reporter, DOGE Livestream, and the Department of Government Efficiency.com so that we can actually turn heads. And all of you people in the CIA, you've been fired. So pack up your bags, pick up your mat, and walk. That's straight out of the Bible. Pick up your mat and walk. Here are your papers. If you haven't heard yet, you've been fired. Now, as far as Colombia, $731 million, I can tell you we made the White House into a crack house, and I bet a lot of that came back as crack for these pardons. The one person that wasn't pardoned was Jackwagon Joe, and I will say you pardoned so many people before they were even found out for a crime, and I'd like to ask you, is that legal? Or did you basically, preemptively destroy everybody? Because the only way you get a pardon is if you actually are being prosecuted. So to give people pardons that aren't being addressed for a crime, you're pretty much telling the American public that these people are guilty. And then you want us to say, oh, well, we'll pardon them. And I'm telling you, America, I've discovered where this last administration was ripping us off at least $1 billion a day. And so after 10 days, they could have housed every American veteran. After 25 days, they could have actually housed every American vet, homeless or not, and given them all a home. I mean, Putin does that, but why should we? Okay, Iraq, why did we give you $2.2 billion? Why? Lebanon, we gave them $1 billion. Now, I can understand helping out Lebanon only because Netanyahu blew them up. And why are we allies with people that put bombs and pagers? And even though America loves Israel, I think that we all can clearly see that you want us to think that every country around Israel's trash. Well, as much as I do agree with Trump and all of his policies, I have my own opinions, and I'm fully for just defending the United States, and I fully agree that defending Israel is a constitutional violation. You see, in the Bill of Rights, it says that America cannot help out any other country, and we can't get involved in anything religious or religious war. Every dollar we send to Israel, every dollar we spend to Pakistan, guess what? We're funding Judaism versus Islam, and our founding fathers were smart enough to put the words in the very beginning of our Bill of Rights to exclude us from giving any of these countries any money. So we're actually violating the Constitution because it says Congress shall make no law regarding the establishment of a religion. And I think our founding fathers were smart enough to put that in there so that we wouldn't give Israel a dollar or the Muslims, because this problem dates back to the time of Jesus. And it's not racism with them because they're the seeds of Abraham. And so these cousins can't get along. But do we need to make that the reason why we destroy America? And the answer is absolutely not. Just pull away and let them fight their own battles. It's between families, and the family feud shouldn't destroy America. As we give Jordan $2.3 billion. Now they're going to use that money, and what I'm getting at is if we give Lebanon $1 billion, if we give Iraq $2.2 billion, if we give Jordan $2.3 billion, and then we give Israel all this money, aren't we funding both sides of the war? And the answer is yes. And we need to stop this tyrannical government. It stood from here, and the days of Molech have finally passed, and light has shed lightness across our country. And as I cross through the streets of D.C., let me tell you about the woke agenda. Going to a Mexican restaurant, and I noticed that the Mexicans were putting all the woke people in just one table. They made them wait while I see black families, Hispanic families, Jewish families, and white families all integrated together, but the message was clear. I go into a Jewish deli, same thing. And what's happening through D.C. right now is we're putting all the woke people on a table. So if we see overweight people with, jewelry on their face, multiple neck tattoos, pink and blue hair, yeah, you're being identified for what you are. Satanic witches, abortion activists, people that we, our friends and family here, would not even invite you into our homes. If you're one of those people, please get off this channel, because this is a channel for people that love God and country, that believe in Jesus, that believe that we serve somebody and we answer to a higher cause. And because of that, we can trust each other, because we believe that we will be held accountable for our actions in life. As we give Afghanistan $6.1 billion. $6 billion. And you would think with that money that somehow they could rebuild their entire infrastructure. Or did that money go to the Taliban? With our $85 billion, meaning we got 90 some odd billion dollars we just gave to the enemy? This is treason. And treason needs to be addressed, and that's why I'm here. So I'm going to stick all of my oil and gas resources, all of my money. If you want to help me do that, that's fine. I'm looking for other people that are powerful so that I can pretty much shake and ruffle this country apart so that we can put term limitations, and something that I'm going to try to push through Congress, and they're going to reject it because I'm going to say, hey, if you've done 2 to 3 terms, you're retired. And we need to do a bill in America where we retire every congressman that has served past 3 terms. Now they're going to say, but Chris, you're ruining my career. And my answer is, listen, dirtbag, being a politician's not supposed to be a career. And you career politicians have ruined our beautiful country. And these numbers of fraud, like the $2.3 billion to Jordan, the $6 billion to Afghanistan, the $6.3 billion to Egypt, and the $2.6 billion to the Ukraine. Now, I'm going to tell you, Zelensky said, America gave me $174 billion and $100 billion is missing. You going to let this guy live in Florida with Benjamin Netanyahu? Is that what we are now? Who are we fighting for? The Ukraine? Because the Ukraine's filled full of basically 100% Ashkenazi Jews. It seems to be a Nazi type of war we're fighting. And America doesn't know that the Ukraine is Jewish. Russia, did you? So basically all of our money went either to Israel fighting their war, and it's not Semitic Jews that I'm saying. No, it's Ashkenazi Jews. What is the story of an Ashkenazi Jew? Do you know? The word Nazi in there because means that they're German Jews. How did they evolve? In the book of Esther in the Bible, King Nebuchadnezzar takes over Jerusalem in the year around 586 BC. And we had 303 of these people, these Jewish people, go up into Upper Russia and into Europe, where they became Ashkenazi Jews, and they became completely white people. In the meantime, we had the other ones that came on. They were Semitic Jews, and they actually speak Aramaic, and they were like Jesus Christ. And if you hear about people saying, oh, well, you're being anti-Semitic, understand that Ashkenazi Jews are not Semitic people. Did you know that? No, they're not. They're lying to you. That's why they bought 23andMe and Ancestry.com, because they don't want you to know that they're really not Jews. Huh, did you know that? You see, because they're not Jews, because in around 2,600 years ago, they migrated into Europe and became Europeans. Hence the word Ashkenazi Jews. The Semitic Jews, the Sephardic Jews, if you read, and just go ahead and Google this now if you doubt me. But if you want to be anti-Semitic, Semitic people all speak an Arabic language. In the Bible it says Abba, Yama Sabachthani. Well, Abba is like Allah, and that is Arabic, and it's closer to Aramaic. So why are we killing the people that are actually Semitic, which would be the Palestinians? But that's something to not pay attention to. Apparently we're going to take over Palestine, not give it to Israel, and I would embrace that because we need to somehow separate them from the war zone of torture. Now, as far as another news, we have the USAID and its abuse being exposed, and we're going to turn that down. We had $20 million for a Sesame Street show in Iraq. Come on, that's money laundering, and we need to have people put in jail. DOGE Reporter. I need businessmen in America that are going to get behind me in law firms because I'm going to litigate and prosecute each one of these people until they see the inside of a cell. I'm not your friend, I'm your enemy. Are you a congressman that has worked over the United States and pocketed some money at the cost of Americans while all of us have lost our jobs, our restaurants, our homes? I've seen record homeless people. You know why? Because of the thieves that we have in Congress and our Senate, and only Chuck Grassley filed articles of impeachment for Jackwagon Joe. That's a crime against humanity. That means they're all in cahoots with each other. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia. Why are we putting so much money into this didn't earn it clan of mentally ill men? And thank God, good news. Thank God that all the ladies in our family are not going to get attacked by mentally ill men anymore. And if this hurts your feelings, well, get lost, trash. I don't care about you. I care about people's mothers, people's grandmothers, people's daughters. Because we all as men try to be good fathers and sons and brothers. And if that's not you, well, maybe you're one of these mentally ill rejects. As we give $70,000 to produce a DEI musical in Ireland. Tell me, Ireland, do you want America to make you a little bit more mentally unstable, do you? Well, I didn't think so either. It's totally un-Irish. It's totally un-American. It was a war against society that ended. And as Sodom and Gomorrah burned, so did these rules of Lucifer. As we give $70,000 to produce a DEI musical in Ireland. You know, I'm not even mentioning the $100 million we gave Hamas for condoms. Why don't you give $100 million in condoms to Mexico? Oh, you know what? Did you know that Mexicans don't practice birth control because they're Catholics? Maybe if they researched this, they would learn that the Muslims follow the same protocol. So you just basically stole another $100 million in condoms for Hamas? Now, this was approved by Congress, and I think we need to fire every single one of them that voted to approve this. The $32,000 for transgender comic books in Peru. I'm here to tell you, all my friends from Peru, they're not for transgender stuff, so why have we been pushing this evil on all of these Christian nations? Because it's unacceptable to the Lord. It's unacceptable to all faiths. I don't care if you're a Muslim, a Christian. The only people that might accept it are Jews. So who was behind it? I think it's probably the Catholics in league with Lucifer, in leagues with perhaps Jerusalem. But understand that they're divided. And understand, all of my Jewish friends say, not in my name. What do I mean by that? Well, in America, Jews get along with Christians and Muslims and Hindus and everywhere, and we can walk the streets and have best friends with different faiths, because that is the beauty of America. But we give $2 million for LGBT activism in Guatemala. How dare us defy Jesus in Guatemala? Guatemala is a Christian nation. How dare us do that? Now, we did $11 million to stop burning trash in Vietnam. That's something, I don't know if I could do that one. But the $6 million fund for tourism in Egypt. Now, I want you to know we did arrest Menendez for fraud, but we can't let states appoint senators. They need to be elected. Just like when Doug Bergman, who's now our interior man, I want you to know, even though I am drill baby drill, people probably ask me, well, Chris, are you for the pipeline, the CO2 pipeline across the state of South Dakota? My answer is, hell no. That is just the government stealing our land. I am the inventor of CO2 frac technology in the Barnett Shale. You can go to thebarnettshale.com and learn about it. And if you get a degree in petroleum reservoir engineering, guess whose work you get to read? Mine. Doug Bergman is basically a Stanford, California educated lawyer, and he's going to steal as much land, and we're actually looking at drilling in all these national parks. And as an oil man, I'm totally against it. I know that we have enough natural resources in the Permian Basin. I know that we have enough natural resources in several areas of the United States. And we've allowed certain governors like Gavin Newsom to create such wicked, abusive laws that guys like me refuse to even drill or do workovers in that state. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, all of our rigs are non-compliant. They even wanted me to drill with electric drilling rigs. Can you believe that? I said, hey, can I hook it up to a wind generator? I'll do that. No, we don't want you to do that. And I was like, well, I guess we're moving our stuff out. And as such now, California, you're sitting with 2 drilling rigs in the whole state. The entire state burned down. You want me to tell you my theory on that? Okay. All that rent control made it to where the landlords could not keep their buildings. And all of the banks went in default on all that property because of rent control. So you could say it was PG&E type of stuff working with the electric companies that set it on fire. You could say the winds came out of nowhere, 100 miles an hour. You could say maybe China did it. Or perhaps you could just believe in God and understand. And read the book of Sodom and Gomorrah and understand. Our homeless is out of control. And the reason why I'm so just utterly perturbed is because of how we look in America when I sit there and see, okay? Okay, so I'm seeing basically all of our homeless getting thrown out onto the streets. We've lost our jobs, and what did people do when they lost their jobs? Well, then they would look at their home and say, that used to be my home, and I can't even get a job at a restaurant or any place. And then the wife denigrated the husband, or the husband denigrated the wife. and then they turned to drugs, and then China filled our streets full of fentanyl. It doesn't take a genius to understand, especially in California, that Pelosi, she was working with China, and that most of our fentanyl's coming in through LA Harbor, through super tankers. Donald Trump, this is a heads up. I love you, sir. It's not the borders that it's coming in through, it's the super tankers. And the Chinese Americans that are in California told me that what would happen is China sent all of these beautiful Chinese ladies over to basically undercover kind of sexually do stuff with a lot of Chinese businessmen, and they'd blackmail them to where then they wouldn't want to tell their family about it. And then they would say, okay, we're shipping you over something, and there's going to be a pint of a liquid in there, and give it to us. And fentanyl is such a dangerous subject, but I was doing the math on it, and only $200,000 worth of those elements is enough to kill our entire country. Now, in the state of South Dakota, we found about 2.4 million fentanyl pills and gummies. We only have a population of 800,000. So we found enough to kill us over 4 times over. But we want to give them a 5-year sentence and a slap on the wrist and food every day in our jail, where they come from a starving country. Well, no sir, no ma'am. Why don't you stand with me? I'm for the death penalty for any illegal alien that we catch with fentanyl. And as far as you people in Los Angeles understand, and if you don't like them, LA, go out there and film them for me. We can identify where every single person in Los Angeles lives through AI. Then we're going to go bust your home. And if we find an illegal alien under there, under USC 1342, you will be doing at least a year in prison as we send you to prison and then back to their country. This ain't a threat, amigos. Especially, I'm not talking to Mexicans. Mexicans are Americans. I'm talking about you South Americans and all you criminals from all of these jail cells and you dirtbag scumbags. America, heads up, we got about 30,000 murderers in our country. We got about 18,000 pedophiles. We got 12,000 people that have beat up women. And they were let into our country, and these aren't assumptions. These are convicted criminals, convicted murderers that we're trying to extradite from our country. And if you ask me, you ought to just let the U.S. Marshals and our police force and sheriff execute them on site, because these are not Americans, so they don't have the rights of citizens. And these are murderers that they're trying to protect in our country. How dare you? You people of Los Angeles, if you think that you're harboring innocent people and you need to protest, you're not doing it in El Nombre de Jesus. No, sir, no, ma'am. And as far as all my Mexican friends, well, they're all here legally, and everybody in Texas thinks you're crazy. Same thing with Oklahoma. What are you doing? So if we need to have our entire enforcement agency go there under one, I want you to understand something, and I want you to do it for me. If you live in LA and you're tired of this, please go out there, act like you're one of the Klan, start videotaping everybody that's doing a protest to, basically violate USC 1342. And from that, we will apprehend them. We will throw them in jail. We have Tom Homan. These are his words. And I think we need to go and do a house check on everybody that we can tell where you live. So if you think you're protected during a raid, this is for you tomorrow. You might not want to go out to a raid because you're going to be videotaped. We're going to go to your home. We're going to arrest you. And we're going to deport the illegal aliens. This is a fact. This is what AI does for us. It's good and it's bad. Your phones recognize your face? So can we. Your phones can recognize your fingerprints? So can we. Welcome to my world. So if you think you're safe, if you think you can hide, think again. Because your butt's about to be mine, and I'm not your friend. I'm here to protect the children of the United States of America, and I'm going to find out about the $1.46 trillion. And when I did the math, I was like, Jesus, these people, our government, this Congress, they ripped us off to the tune of $1 billion a day for the last 4 years. Okay? Is this acceptable to you? Because it's definitely not acceptable to me. And it's time that we have some accountability in everything that I see. Now, as far as other countries threatening us, well, let me tell you something. Here's some news that came out as soon as, oh, by the way, and this is a heads up, Iran, Since President Trump took office, we have a record amount of people that have signed up to be a part of the United States Army, Air Force, and Marines. God bless each and every one of you. You see, we just didn't want to sacrifice our child to somebody that wasn't truly working for America. But now that we're back, you better quake in your boots, son. Little Kim, if you think you can take us on, think again. I'd probably like to say, why don't you take that opportunity to try us on? Why don't you take it, Iran, to see how long you're going to last? Cut it out with your bravado. Send our people back, and I'll let you know we've been getting hostages back from all over the world. So stop getting involved. And even though he threatened you, take that threat real. Because he said, if you dare mess with us and if you dare respond to our president, you will be obliterated. This is a quote from the President of the United States, Donald Trump. Now, of course, I was saying orange man good with watermelon balls forever, but that was to avoid the bots. If you don't like the way I type certain things, that also is to avoid the bots. I am purely here to try to protect this beautiful man behind me who is my president and your president. And if you don't like this man, get off this channel. I'm not selling you one commercial. There is nothing I'm asking for you. This is a network of grandmas and grandpas and fathers and mothers that are trying to protect their family. If you know of any illegal aliens or stuff that you need to have reported, I'm going to give you the lines. I'm going to give you marshals and agents so that we can apprehend everybody and clean up our country as soon as we can. And that's what we need to do, and that's what our president has asked of us. And I will be at the White House, and I'm just so thankful we went from a gay black immigrant, lesbian, in the White House to somebody that's actually a Christian. And the reason why I had such a problem with the dirty Q-tip was because how was she supposed to tell the American family how to be? How is a gay immigrant supposed to tell an American mother and father how to be with their child? The answer is she couldn't. We were living a total joke. Everybody and every accident you're seeing today is the result. Every death in the sky is a result of what we inherited from Jack Wagon Joe. Now, it's pretty amazing, but we had the Iranian MP shocker, and this guy actually threatened my president. Listen, dirtbag, you don't threaten my president ever. Or I'll just come after you personally myself. You don't ever threaten my president. And I think I speak for all of America because we are back. Now, this is a real threat, and this Igmo behind me thinks he's tough. I'm going to suggest the people of Iran, you need to cool this guy out and take him out before he obliterates your entire country. So the word for Iran is this. You need to remove the people that threaten our president because I want you to live. And if you have radical leaders like this, I don't want anybody from Iran to die because you have dirtbag, aggressive, just crazy leaders. Because there's no way you're going to win. No way at all. And if you attack Israel or anything like that, all you're going to do is obliterate your own country. We had a liar. His name was Joe Biden. He had a problem telling the truth. Now we have an honest man. A guy that I would take a bullet for, a man I love like my own grandfather. And I just want you to know that we're back. And we had some great things happen and wonderful things happen. And it's so nice to know that we are back. Now, the threat from Iran also came from North Korea. So I'm letting you see this behind me. Little Kim, I think you know that hopefully Donald Trump can go back with Dennis Rodman and restore some peace. But if you want to get tough with us, bring it, kid. Bring it right now. Now, I didn't say that under Jack Wagon Joe, but the time and the tide has turned. Our pay has been reinstated. Our ranks have been reinstated. We're going to get every woke DEI transsexual out of uniform, and I'll tell you something. Did you know it's a violation of the FM 22-5? You know they're all out of uniform. You know that in the old days we would ask all of our soldiers, do you like yourself and who you are? And if the answer was no, you couldn't have a gun. Well, if you're a man and you want to chop your balls off and have a pair of tits, obviously you don't like who you are. And if you're a woman and you think you're a man, well, you don't like who you are either. And if you doubt it, well, you could ask the Black Hawk captain, who was Joe Biden's media assistant, who they scrubbed her stuff and her satanic cult of lesbian stuff. And they want to protect her so bad as she murders 66 innocent lives. That's my theory. And as you see it, there's no way she was qualified to even pilot something with 500 hours. In every theory, oh, well, they identified the chopper or the plane behind. No, that's inaccurate. You cruised right on into this plane. And so my heart goes out to every parent that lost a child, or every husband or every wife that lost a family member. And we got to stop protecting these transsexuals that are mentally ill. And this needs to be a lesson, and I'd like for America to pass this. But if you're a homosexual or a lesbian, we need to have them all out of our school systems entirely. Now, you might ask me why. Well, they'll never have children, so they don't need to influence our children. In fact, if we truly recognize the value of women and men, we should only have women that are mothers as our teachers. Maybe 90% of them that way, maybe 10% of males. But women are better at nurturing kids. They're better at educating children. All my favorite teachers when I was in elementary school were women. And there were a couple of great ones in high school. But if we truly value our women, we would let them be the educators. And I'm not saying gay women, I'm saying women that are married with children. Because I don't want any of our children being influenced by somebody that is not a mother or a father. I don't want our children being influenced by anybody that is mentally ill. And believe it or not, in the olden days, even if you were gay, you were considered mentally ill. But I'm not going to get on the gay people as being mentally ill. I'm specifically addressing the transsexual community. And go live your lives, work in an art store. Go work in, the mall. But stay out of our schools. No parent wants you there. And I'm tired of dedicating our children and their influence to a bunch of weirdos. Now, I'll tell you something that was pretty amazing that I saw in New York and in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to say this so this spreads across America, but I go into a Mexican food place. Again, I see all the Asians and the blacks and the Jewish people and all the parents, and then they're shoving all the DEI woke people that are overweight with tattoos and no rings in the corner. So if you have a restaurant and you want to welcome people with families, well, you need to start seating the people that are DEI in a corner so that they can get the message. Because when I go into an IHOP or a Waffle House or other places, these are family places. They're not the place where we get to see rejects front and center. So that's a little lesson if you got a restaurant. Put these people in the corner and let them understand just through that they're not welcome in a family establishment. It's the best advice I could give, and hopefully there's some restaurant owners that are thinking, wow, that's a good idea, Chris. Yeah, let's put them in a corner or put them around the corner so where they're not seen so that our children don't have to look at it and be influenced by some weirdo. Is Iran building a nuclear bomb? I really don't care. The fact is we have them and so does Israel. How about you cool it, Iran? Please. And I'm just trying to end anything that might happen over there because we can't have any of these things that are coming to us. Now, a beautiful sight to me was the swearing in of our new Attorney General, Pam Bondi. And she was sworn in by the only person, if I was to be sworn in, that I'd want to be sworn in by, and that's Clarence Thomas. So to me, this was a very beautiful moment in American history where we have a female attorney general, a white female attorney general, being sworn in by a very distinguished black Supreme Court justice. Couldn't get any better than that. And hopefully, justice will prevail. See, because all three people here I seriously believe in. And I think it was a wise choice. And I think that we're going to do amazing things together with DOGE. And every single action that the president needs, I am at your service. Now, when Vivek Ramaswamy dropped out, I had to ask 4 generals that I know, would you help me? Will you help me run DOGE? Will you help me clean out the Pentagon? Will you help me fire people and God blessed me with 4 generals and 12 colonels. So your asses are mine. We're going to be walking into the FBI and the Pentagon, and we're going to be analyzing you with a fine-tooth comb. Now, usually I'm the bad cop in a scenario, and I hate being the bad cop, but I'm so aggressive, there's few people like me. It's hard to top a Texas oil man. Till I bumped into Colonel Ivan Reichland, and I thought, this deep state marauder's more intimidating even than I am. And I like that. So I'm going to get to play the good guy, and I've got a lot of bad guys in the military that are out for justice, and all I want to say is, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for supplying the body of Christ so that we can all be there to support each other and make America safe again. It's safety in which I'm most concerned about, and we just haven't been safe for the last 4 years. We have fought in all of these ridiculous wars, and it's all been in the name of money laundering, like I said, about $1 billion a day for the last 4 years straight. $1.46 trillion in fraud that got stolen out instead of giving. You realize this country stole so much money they could have given every homeless American a brand new home paid for. That's why we look so bad. You look at the streets in New York and Los Angeles, all the folded restaurants and buildings. It's not our fault, America. It's our government's. All of our tax money was stolen from us that was supposed to stay here to rebuild our economy. And I'm not going to call everybody great. I mean, here's another figure. I call them the can't governors: California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. What if I told you in the state of Texas we make last year we made $27.3 billion just in oil and gas taxes to the state? Well, believe it or not, that was enough for Governor Greg Abbott to build our wall at least 4 times over, but he did not do that. So, I mean, even though he might be a Republican, he's not one to me. He's handicapped in more ways than one. If you want to know who I think should be the governor of Texas, that would be State Senator Tan Parker, because he was the only one to go out there with me on tragedies to actually care about the people of Texas. So Tan Parker and Ted Cruz, thank you so much for being wonderful Texans. And my heart goes out to you just to see people wonderful like that out there with me, defending the nation. I mean, words can't explain my gratitude. What do I mean by that? Well, I guess I'll show it to you here. So what you're about to see here right now is, remember when we were having these things that were going on in Texas? We had some catastrophes that happened, and I reached out to the entire Texas Senate, all the congressmen, and only one of them was gracious enough to join me to actually help people. And so I wanted you to see that, because a picture is 1,000 words. And this is State Senator Tan Parker out there with Chris Sanders as we're actually helping people. Didn't see anybody else out there. In fact, Greg Abbott came for a photo shoot and left. But he didn't hold their hands. He didn't pray for them. He didn't care. He came for a photo shoot and left. So this man behind me, Tan Parker, he's got a heart of solid gold. He's now head of Texas Majority. And hopefully we'll be doing some really wonderful things in the state of Texas together. And I just appreciate your service to this country. And again, just to know that all my friends won, this is just a wonderful thing. And we're going to have Jonathan Ratcliffe, director of the CIA. And the power this brings to America is unequaled. We are actually getting our country back, okay? We have the best people that have won and have taken office and are in control now. And that's all I want you to know about. Now, here's another beautiful woman. God, I love her. She's a great wife. She's a great politician. Nancy Mace. Now, Nancy Mace, she exposes U.S. aid corruption and spending during the Oversight Committee. And it's hard to argue with such brilliance.
Over there, but hey, George Soros and his boy are okay. They scream that we're all a threat to democracy when they've been systematically dismantling democracy before our eyes. They've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and there's no going back. So I would tell my colleagues across the other side of the aisle, take your salty tears and sit right back down. USAID has long strayed from its mission to effectively and efficiently administer aid to advance American interests. USAID has become rotten to its core, sacrificing the prudent use of taxpayer dollars at the altar of advancing radical, sinister social and political agendas abroad. From discriminatory DEI initiatives to extreme gender ideology to marginalize real bona fide biological women. For decades, while homeless veterans sleep on our streets, our communities rebuild from natural disasters, and American families struggle to get by, USAID has pillaged and plundered the American treasury, essentially lighting American taxpayer dollars on fire, funding some of the dumbest, stupidest, just dumbest initiatives imaginable.
Listen to this, it's wonderful.
And that's why their party is crumbling. Today I'm going to expose some of the initiatives USAID has funded over the years and ask each of you a yes or no question. If you believe these expenditures of American taxpayer dollars put America first. So it'll be yes or no. USAID awarded $2 million to strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming health care in Guatemala. So to each of you this morning, does this advance the interests of American citizens paying for trannies in Guatemala to the tune of $2 million? Yes or no? Governor?
No. I have no position.
Of course you don't. Okay, USAID awarded over $750,000 to fund alleviating loneliness among migrant garment workers in India. Does this advance America's interests, Governor? No.
No. I have no position.
USAID awarded $1.5 million for providing a gender-sensitive response to migration at the Venezuelan border. Does this advance America's interests, Governor? No.
No. I have no position.
Does this advance the interest? Okay, so USAID awarded $4.3 million on October 1st, 2023 to a group to fund comprehensive health services for men having sex with other men in South Africa. Does this advance the interests of American citizens, Governor? No.
No. I have no position.
I bet you don't. Okay. USAID awarded $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities by promoting economic empowerment and opportunity for LGBTQI plus people in Serbia. Does this advance America's interests? No.
No. Nope.
You have no idea, right? Okay. USAID awarded over $70,000 to a group to deliver a live musical event to promote the U.S. and Irish shared values of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. Does this advance the interests of America? No.
No. No position.
No position or no clue. Okay, USAID awarded $1.5 million to fund strengthening community support structures to upscale LGBT rights advocacy in Jamaica. Does this advance our interests? No.
No. No position.
USAID awarded $28 million to a group to facilitate the economic insertion of Venezuelan migrants and refugees in Peru and Ecuador. Does this advance our interests? No.
No. No position.
Okay, USAID awarded
As we see this, I just want you to identify something, America. Notice that everybody that has an answer is fit, in shape, just like Nancy Mace. She's a beautiful woman, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene, just like Lauren Boebert. You can see God in people because they respect themselves and they treat themselves like the temple that Jesus said we were. Look at the people that are responding to her. You have the two that have an answer, and then you have this fat butt over here who's all for this DEI, and I'll remind you, everything that's DEI goes against the Bible. It's satanic. It goes against everything that's American, and it's time for us to enforce and put every single one of these people in prison, in jail, because that's the reason why we lost our jobs and our homes. We've let all these murderers in. We've defunded the police. We've unprotected our children. We had a hidden war, and in my opinion, it was funded by China and perhaps Israel. Israel's been draining us. China's been attacking us. How does China attack us? They've been attacking us through vaccines. They've been attacking us through 5G. They've been attacking us through flooding us. They're the only country that can steal our copyrights and patents. I mean, we don't even get this from Russia, so why on earth do we allow this country, China, to have any business in the United States? I say 200% tariff on everything from China. Please, President Trump, this is a good suggestion from me to you, because somehow we need to have retribution and some money back from these peoples that have stolen every single patent that we've had. And I'm sick of them threatening Japan and Taiwan and everywhere else. China is our enemy, and it is obvious. If you don't, well, what's COVID about? What's the Wuhan virus about? I've been talking about it, every conspiracy theory that I've mentioned. Do you realize I'm 100%? Not one thing I've ever said has been a lie? Okay. It's obvious. It's called common sense. Now, here's what I'm showing you. This is the pilot right here. This chick. This is the lesbian that flew in and killed everybody. This is Ralph Lauren. I want you to know how integrated she is with Biden. She was his media person, and we were going to fire her because we were firing all of these DEI rejects, so she was out in her last flight before she was going to get retired. You understand me? No one's telling you the truth like that. No one's telling you that this chick with 500 hours wouldn't be allowed to fly, and she knew it. She knew her days of thunder were over. Yeah, this reject behind me, and I'm going to call it like it is. You murdered 66 innocent people. And it's obvious right now through these pictures why. And we need to stop pretending and stop coming up with these theories to protect her and her family. I'd give a rat's ass about what her family thinks, because you raised this degenerate retard who murdered 66 people. You see that helicopter careen right into the airplane. They were supposed to stay at 200 feet in altitude, and she moved up into 300-400 feet and did a direct path into murdering all these people. Stop protecting these mentally ill people. Look at the Colorado shooter. What did that person have? Transsexual. What about the kid on the roof? He's turning transsexual. You see the common denominator here? It's called mental illness. These people are all mentally ill. They need to not have any jobs in government because they're a threat to society. If you doubt it, look at all the people that got murdered in Colorado at that Christian school by that boy girl. Okay, and you want us to then say that they're a girl when they're a boy? It's like, cut it out with the nonsense. Say what it is. It's a mentally ill person. And it's time for us to just stop sacrificing our children to these mentally ill people. I'm not having it anymore, and I'm glad I'm in a position to make some heads roll, because your heads are the first that are going to roll. ICE, Los Angeles. This is the scene out there. So again, if you are an American, I'm speaking to all my Armos and my Armenian brothers in Los Angeles. Go out and videotape these people. I'm speaking to all my Jewish brothers in Los Angeles. Go out there and videotape these people. Every single one of them, because through AI we can tell where they live and who they are through their Google phone. We'll go knock on their door in the next couple of weeks. We'll arrest them. Again, it's a USC violation 1342, and when we find that they're harboring or aiding an illegal alien, your butt is mine. As far as the New Jersey governor, we're going to be arresting you tomorrow because you're housing an illegal alien. So if even the governors are not safe from this nonsense, none of you kids are safe. You either follow the law or you're going to go to jail. And as far as you lawbreakers, I have no sympathy for you at all. It's time for us to have law and order and safety. I'm going to be going for at least a year for every single person that's aiding and abetting a criminal. You will be doing a year in prison. This is a felony. As far as the illegal aliens, we're going to pass a law to where if you're caught here and you're an illegal alien, you will never be allowed in the United States again. I'm pushing that through with the Trump administration, through my influence, and through all of our other channels, but I am not alone in this. And that will prohibit you. So if you want to live in America legally, I suggest you pack up your stuff and you go out and you come back legally. Because if we detain you for being here illegally, we're going to pass a bill to where you can never come back. And I think that's something that'll make us all sleep better at night. If you come here on the wrong foot with your first step, we can assume that your second step's going to be on the wrong foot too. And these people are unentitled. And if you don't know English or Spanish, who are you going to work for? To me, you're just people that are degenerate rejects, that are criminals, that are somehow going to be sponging off our Social Security and all of our taxes. And no, that's for Americans. It's time for the tax money of America to stay here. It's time for every single dollar that we make and we tax that has stayed here. It is time for us to arrest IRS, CIA, FBI, members of Congress, and anybody that approved our money going somewhere else, especially to this DEI stuff, especially throughout Mexico, Nicaragua, and South America, because I know all of my brothers and sisters throughout Mexico and South America are what? Christians. You understand me? So you're actually spitting in the face of Jesus Christ throughout North and South America, and guess what? That doesn't bode well with us at all. So guess who won? Jesus Christ won. And thank God he did. And if you share Jesus with me, if you share a love of this country with me, well, we're on the right page and we're winning. And we need to stand behind our president, and we can rest more easy at night. And every day he's doing something dynamic. And I'm telling you right now as to what you can do so that we can apprehend everybody that's actually holding somebody that is illegal. So we have 51 deep state intelligence officers, like I said, that we fired. I gave you the list at the U.S. Capitol the other day. I've got associates. We're going to be cruising around Congress and the Senate tomorrow. And we're here for action. If you're an American in any state and you want to help me, I could use your help. I could use every single person. You just put your name down. You join me in Washington. I will show you where the halls of Congress are, every single member of Senate. There's no longer walls up protecting people that are robbing us. And let's go in together and examine all these people and ask them about their high crimes and misdemeanors. Then we can give that evidence to Speaker Johnson. And from that, we can vote to have them kicked out. Now, this is where we're at. This is what we're going to do. And again, we have won. Trump is our president. We have people that want to do a... what is it? Did you know that they're already trying to vote to impeach Trump for dastardly deeds? So, Johnson, here's what I want you to do, or any Congress member or senator. You need to vote to impeach the Congress member or senator that is obviously in violation of the Constitution, because we don't do impeachments for dastardly deeds. It's called high crimes and misdemeanors, morons. And so if they don't know the Constitution, they need to be fired immediately or written up for a misdemeanor or a high crimes and misdemeanors. 2, we need to kick all the lobbyists out. Why do you think we fought in Afghanistan for decades? It was for opium for Big Pharma. Big Pharma sucks. We need to put our trust in God, plants, herbal remedies. We need to clean our soil. We need to get back into mushrooms and probiotics and use even industrial hemp marijuana to clean our soil, because God gave us all the plants. Everything that we need. Man hasn't invented anything except for commotion, speed, and problems. So that's the story. That is the scoop. And for all of my grandmas out there, sending you a big hug. For all my veterans out there, totally love each and every one of you. As far as if there's any hoes or prostitutes out there hitting on my people, I go through this, and my kids do, and we erase you. And as far as if you say anything that's disrespectful to people, and you're like, oh, Chris, I was deleted. Well, somehow you said something that wasn't appropriate to my family. And if you're some widow or widower and you're stalking my friends and family, go somewhere else. I actually go through this stuff and erase each and every one of you. I think every other Facebook channel actually tries to get people to join them. I don't. I just want Americans that love America here. And because of that, you found your new friends and you found your new family, and there's a big love going out to each and every one of you. I want to prevent stuff like this, America. I want to make it to where we're safe again. And we've taken the first step by having Trump in office. And with Kennedy and Trump together, we can truly make America healthy again. and America's safe again. I'll be coming up with other figures about as far as how this government literally stole $1 billion a day. And I want you to understand we're looking for that $100 billion in the Ukraine. Perhaps Putin, you could reach out and give us your ideas, because I'm sure somehow Vladdy P and the KGB clearly knows where this money went. Transparency is the key. And I think we need to start a good relationship with Russia, because we just gave them 4 years of just, I'm surprised they didn't hit us. And now that we have Trump, we can start on the right foot. But you got to understand, Mother Russia and Uncle Sam, we're both Christian countries, and we actually share more in common with Russia than we do most of Africa and most of Saudi Arabia. That's just a fact. I don't care what you say. Even the service members always got along with Russians better than they did people from Saudi, or people from Egypt, or people from even the remote parts of South America, or even the remote parts of Africa. Now, as far as what America needs to take care of, this is just me speaking, after we take control of the Panama Canal, we need to take control of Venezuela and their oil, and we need to get Maduro out of there. We need to feed them so there's nobody hungry, and trade them food for oil. Then we need to protect countries like Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, and the United Kingdom, bind up, take over Canada, take over Greenland, and try to hold out on the last countries that believe in Jesus Christ, because our way is different than the rest. And then they want to come here, and when they come here with their own culture, they ruin our society. Now, I'm saying there's so many countries that come here. I see a lot of people from India that come here, for instance, and they don't marry Americans. And I think we need to put a rule out there where we can't have people migrate to America unless they marry an American. Because in the last 10 years, I look even in Plano, Texas, you go into a Costco and you would think that you're in India. And here's a little news flash, Doge. I think we need to do security swoops on Costco's and make sure that everybody is an American, and start extraditing people, even starting in Texas. Now, I know that might sound far-fetched, and there's a lot of people that are nice, but I'm tired of being nice. That's why I'm the good cop, and we got bad cops out there. So what you're seeing is the good cop in my team. They're way more vicious than me. Thank you, Jesus. And thank you for watching the American News Network with Chris Sanders. Please like, please share, please subscribe. And for all my TikTokers and all these other platforms out there, you're more than welcome to share all of this that you want, because I'm not here to make money. I'm here to protect our children and our country. Sending love to you. Good day.